Hello, I'm Jay Sturm from Cranes101 and Cranes Aerial Truck Service, and I'm here with Kris Fournier from Island Lighting and Power, we're here to talk about their business and their very special new machine. My first question really goes out to Kris. Tell me about your new machine. What is it that you just bought?
So we just bought a DTC 80, which is a tracked drilling machine. Very agile, very quick. So typically when we have had to drill holes, we've had to set up our pressure digger. That requires the outriggers to go out, the auger to get either lowered into the hole or maybe even attached to the end of it. And then, we drill and then pack everything back up, move to the next location. Now we can just sit in the same spot, drill it, drive over, drill it, drive over, drill it. We save a ton of time. It's really cool.
Yeah. Now this machine is pretty extraordinary for this type of machine. Tell me about how big of a hole you can drill and how deep you can go with it.
So we can do up to 60-inch holes and up to 100 feet deep with this new drill rig.
That's a lot of drilling. And this is a real torquing machine. Now, I'm very familiar with digger derricks and this type of machine as well, but digger derricks especially, and we see a torque on a digger derrick will be anywhere from 16 to 20,000 pounds typically. What is the torque of a machine like this?
More than triple. We're at 60,500 pounds on our DTC 80.
That's a lot of muscle for a machine.
It is.
Your business is mostly stadium lighting. I mean, or you certainly have the ability to do stadium lighting, don't you?
Yeah, so we base a lot of our business around field lighting. So whether that be stadiums or a high school field or even just a local baseball field. We have a project in Walpole right now, Route 1, that some people might be able to see as you drive by. We dug all the foundations there. We also did the electrical work, but we also stood those, I think they're 70-foot poles, hung the fixtures on them, got everything all lined up there. We had to dig. That was pretty easy. We didn't have our new drill rig, but fortunately that was mostly sand out there. We've had a lot of projects where having that extra torque would have been very valuable, especially when in New England we hit a lot of ledge.
Yeah.
A lot of ledge.
Yeah.
It slowed down a lot of projects for us, and obviously you lose time, you lose money, so this has been a huge investment for us, but it is already paying off. We have a 6 megawatt carport that we're digging the foundations for. For those of you guys who may not know what a 6 megawatt carport is, it's about as big of a carport as you can build in New England. It is the biggest one, and I've spent a lot of time in the solar industry. It's the biggest one I've ever seen or been a part of. We have over 200 foundations that we're drilling. Those are about, I think they're 54-inch wide holes and 15-foot depth, and we are going through that stuff like butter. It's tremendous.
That'd keep you busy for a while, though.
It actually, it sounds like it, but we were expecting to average, 10, maybe 15 holes a day, and we are hitting that very comfortably.
Really?
Yeah, so it's been good.
That's very impressive. Very impressive. What do you know about Cranes101 and Cranes Aerial Truck Service?
So you guys come in and do our inspections sometimes. Besides the DTC 80 that we bought, we have a lot of different trucks. We have some cranes. We have some, what will you call them? We call them forklifts or lulls.
Or telehandlers.
Yeah, telehandlers. That kind of leads into the new application that you guys were demonstrating for me, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yep.
So mostly I've had you training my team members. We have operators for all of our equipment, and then you're doing the inspections for us, which has been really helpful because you come to us, do them in our parking lot. We take the trucks out, you guys work on them or do your inspection, give us our year certification, and we go from there.
You're up and running again.
Yeah.
What's your biggest safety concern today in our business environment? What is the biggest challenge for safety, do you think?
I would say, you want everybody to come home every day in the same state that they went to the job site, right?
Yeah.
So we use a lot of heavy equipment. We obviously want guys to be paying attention around that equipment, you know. But we do a lot of things like, what do you want, toolbox talks?
Yep.
You know, guys will stop and talk about the risks that we're going to have throughout the day. We'll talk about, you know, what we're doing with the piece of equipment, where people should stand. We'll have protocol when you go on site that if you're going near a piece of equipment that's operating, you have to make eye contact with that person, you know, get the little wave,
Yeah.
and get that acknowledgement that they see you and you also see them. But you know, we also do electrical work, so I would say the challenge is always making sure the guys are paying attention. You know, they have to know what they're doing, and then also be focused on the work that they're doing, because it's all dangerous.
Right. You know, the safety business has evolved. We've been in business now for 19 years, and the evolution over the 19 years since we've been in business, how companies like yours, for instance, take that interest seriously, making sure not only that you're going to spew out, here's the instructions for the day, but I want to make sure you understand the instructions for the day. I am a firm believer that there is no common sense. If you don't explain it, it's not getting there.
Common sense isn't that common, right?
It isn't that common at all. No, I agree with that. So what, if any, is there for new updates in your business that a company like us, as a training specialist or an inspection specialist, that we need to know? What is it that makes your life easier?
So as far as working with our equipment, it's always good to keep track of everything. You guys have been tremendous about flexibility and coming to work with us. Obviously, you come out to our shop. Even during these challenging times with the pandemic, you've made accommodations to be able to get training done for our team members and our team. We haven't missed on any of our inspections because you guys have still been available and open. You know, in the industry, I don't think a lot has changed so much from an operator's perspective. You know, everybody still has to pay attention to what they're doing. They still have to get trained on the equipment. We're still doing the same thing. You know, you're digging foundations, digging holes. You know, you're trenching, you're running conduit, you're lifting heavy equipment. All that's the same. It's really just keeping guys away from things like their phone and the technology that provides distractions, right? That's the new industry, is that everything's done through their phone or a tablet, and having that available to guys also provides a huge distraction.
Yep.
So I would say that would be the biggest change that I've seen in this industry. There's also things that have happened where solar's kind of a new and not really a new technology, but definitely a more prevalent technology than you've seen, right? Yeah, you can't drive down the street without seeing it on somebody's house, and of course you have to either use a lift or safely get up there. But that's just residential. We're talking enormous structures. You know, the hoisting of 10,000, 15,000 pounds of equipment, electrical equipment. Guys have to be paying attention. They have to know what's going on. They have to know what the capacities are. They have to understand the equipment they're using. And having those resources that you guys provide, especially this new application, the safety portal, that is awesome. I can have all of my documents in the same place. I can see every time one of my guys has done an inspection through your service, it's all saved in there. I can see anytime we've had an actual inspection for the equipment, maybe our yearly checkups. Anytime things have been worked on, we can document all that, save it all in the same place, and use that as a resource. So that's been really good too.
So that you feel that that's going to be a big help for you?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And that was our goal, of course. We want to make sure that it's going to be a big help for you. What more would you like to say about your business? Because your business intrigues me. You're very specialized, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to have you here. Not just because you're nice guys, of course, but you're very specialized. In taking on a piece of equipment like what you just did, you're one of very few people that can do what you're doing now.
Yeah. We've been very fortunate. So Jim and Jared O'Neill are our two principals, and we have been in business for over 27 years. Jim started, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was with one truck and just Jim by himself, and he built it into, I honestly don't know how many trucks we have, at least a dozen. We have an enormous amount of equipment and resources available to us now. We have not comfortable business, but we have avenues that can go down, and different things we can pivot to as times change. So when COVID became a prevalent thing and everybody kind of wanted to scatter, well, a lot of our projects for solar, for example, are out in fields where there aren't very many people around, if any at all.
Yep. So
we will do all the like high voltage electrical, or it's really not high voltage on an electrical site, they call it medium voltage. We will do all of the work involved in that. We'll set the equipment, we'll wire that stuff up, we'll run the overhead lines, we'll put the poles in, we'll mount the equipment up on the poles. So we'll use cranes, we'll have excavators if we need one, we'll have bucket trucks on site, big wire pullers that have to come on trailers or rack trucks, and that's only one of the avenues of our business. Another one is to do field lighting. So we obviously, as we were talking about earlier, we do a lot of the universities. If you've driven around anywhere and you've seen field lighting, we probably put it up.
yeah.
Yeah, seriously. If you were to ask Jim about a school, he'd say, "Oh, that field, I know exactly when we put that up. I remember which poles are there. I know which number this one is." So we've been really fortunate to have all these different avenues for ourselves. We obviously do some commercial electrical work, but our bread and butter has always been the field lighting. You need specialized equipment to do that work. You need to be able to dig the foundations, set the bases, and then build and stand these enormous poles, and then also be able to reach and maintain them, because there's electrical connections at the top and there are electrical connections at the bottom that all have to work in conjunction with one another, and they all have to be done correctly. And there's always problems. Any construction site has them, right?
Right.
The plug didn't work, but normally when you're worrying about a plug in a wall, you can bend over and unscrew the faceplate and take a look at it. Well, we're talking about a plug that could be 140 feet in the air. We have a project at one of the universities in Connecticut, and those poles are 140 feet tall. You can't get up to fix something up there without specialized equipment, and of course, you need specialized skills to do so. And then you need people who know what they're doing when they're up there, and that's what we specialize in. Definitely, that's our focus.
And you have the capability of doing the job from start to finish too, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Usually we get involved very early. A lot of guys around the industry know that we have the ability to do this work, and that there's not a lot of people who have all the equipment that we do, and all the skills that we do, and the expertise. So we're usually one of the first phone calls, and we get to be a part of the project from design, build to the end when we get to commission it. So it's good.
That is nice. Well, I'm really glad you took the time to sit here with me, and I think we've covered everything that I wanted to cover. So I'd like to sign off and thank Kris for coming down from Island Lighting and Power in Norton, Mass?
Norfolk, Mass.
Norfolk, Mass. I knew it was an end town. Norfolk, Mass. They are highly specialized and a very good company, I can assure you. We've been working with them for many years now, and hope to do for many years to come.
Right? Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in, and thank you all for watching.